What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. In this show, we're doing our PGA DFS picks for the 2021 WGC Championship. Before we move to the concession into Florida, though, let's take a look back at Genesis.
Yeah.
Overall, pretty good, Craig. 5 of 6 made the cut. Ortiz tried with a bogey-free round on Friday, but didn't quite get there.
Yeah, he had an ugly stretch of golf there on Thursday. I think 4 or 5 bogeys in a row that ultimately sewered his whole week.
Yeah. But we had 5 through, 4 of which went top 26. We had 2nd in Finau, 5th in Hovland. You know, I said on the show, I like lineups that started Finau, and ultimately that's what took down GPP. So I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, it's the right formula. I mean, the other thing I feel like we did a good job was avoiding a few of the big misses last week.
Some big landmines there, yeah.
So we look forward.
We look forward. Perfection is the name of the game. What are we doing this week? We got a no-cut field. So our tournament preview is already out. Go check that out on YouTube. But I did want to talk DFS for a second. So it's a little bit unique. We have a limited field no-cut event. So what does that mean for DFS? Because golf scoring is different from DFS scoring. So, for example, if you have an even par round, that's 18 pars, that's going to be 12 points for that golfer. If you have an even par round, that's 9 bogeys, 9 birdies. That's almost double the DraftKings points at 22.5. So volatility is kind of the name of the game when you have everyone's playing 4 rounds here.
Yeah.
There's no cut. All 72 players get 4 rounds. So potentially it's opportunities for riskier plays. And then with a limited field, I think there's also fewer ways to differentiate a little bit. You kind of have to mix it up a little bit and go contrarian. So like any quick thoughts with that?
I mean, no, as soon as you have more than, let me think here, as soon as you have more than 2 birdies, so say you were to have 3 birdies, 3 bogeys, you're starting to be better off than getting the bonus for a bogey-free round. So, yeah, I mean, the other thing, you know, we did do our tournament preview. We have very little information for this course. From the sounds of it, it's going to be difficult. It's a harder course. It's one of the harder courses in Florida. I think it's going to be a good week of golf. So I'm excited for the golf. I do find these to be a little bit harder from a DFS point of view because so often I think that the edge that we have as people who follow this way too closely is really further down in the field. And that, you know, when we only have 72, 73 guys in the field, there's just not as many there for other people to make mistakes on.
But there are ways to be different. I don't know. If we're done strategy, we'll save our strategy for Wednesday night show. Join us in
full field breakdown.
Let's jump into our picks.
You're up.
First one, Tyrrell Hatton, 9,600 on DraftKings. He's 9th on FanDuel, 11,000. He's 9th there. I just feel like of all the plays up top, this seems the sneakiest. So all the way down to my last point there, I think like rated 9th in pricing, I think that's just way too discounted for Hatton. He's 5th in official world golf rankings. He's 7th in the field in strokes gained total for the past 6 months. So he's playing really good. And he's a winner in 2021. Like, we only have a couple months here in both Euro and PGA. There's not many winners, and Hatton is one of them.
European Tour Player of the Month for January.
European Tour Player of the Month. Like, it's all looking great. I think, again, like I said with Finau, I think starting at Hatton, although there are a couple of plays around that which we'll talk about, but starting around here, I think is really good. So what else has he done? 4 appearances at this event. Yes, it's moved for the first time, but just like majors, performing in these type of events does kind of translate, I think, not just to the course. So these are kind of more Mexico stats, but he does have 3 top 10s, and all 4 of his appearances were top 20s. So with a no-cut event, strong field, he plays well.
Yeah.
And then looking a couple of the indicators, because we don't know much about the course that I was looking at this week. So how does he do in birdie or better percentage, because that's DraftKings points, and then par 5 scoring, because from what I know of this course, the par 5s are very hard. So it's not necessarily getting those eagles on par 5s, but scoring when you can. So he obviously plays in the
one of them. I think they expect to be one of the hardest par 5s they'll see all year.
Yeah, which is really cool, remarkable. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
To be perfectly honest. Yeah. But for the 2020 year, I pulled 2020 stats because that's when he had more of his data.
And so just to be clear, that's the 2019-2020 season, not the 2020 calendar year. Yeah, okay.
Yes, exactly. So he's 4th in birdie or better percentage at 25% and 10th in par 5 scoring, 4.5. I just think that a lot of people just kind of equate those two stats with bombers. I think Hatton kind of gets it all done. He's so well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a great play this week.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing about him, and you sort of mentioned it with his history at this tournament, his finishes here point to the fact that he is the kind of guy that can go, he's not going to be intimidated by a field. He's the kind of guy that can go in anywhere.
No.
If he's playing well, like one of the things I think he does, he's world class at, is approach play. And when he's throwing daggers, he can score in bunches, and he can do it against anyone. So I like the play. I think there's upside there. I don't know yet. There's a bunch of people I like right below the top guys, and he's one of them. So I don't know yet how I'm going to fully flesh out my strategy. But that's what the Wednesday show's for.
And just one more quick point, because I'm going to talk about a few Euros. I think going to a new course might actually help the Euros a little bit, because they do travel all over the world and kind of are thrown in these different courses. Perhaps they're more used to the uncertainty. So another kind of uptick for Hatton.
It's a theory. It's a hypothesis.
It's a theory. It's a theory.
Okay, my first one, I said that I wanted to go away from the top guys, but one guy I'm still going to be plugging in. I know that I kind of sound like a broken record bringing Xander up every week, but what I want to do here is not just tell you someone new for the sake of telling you someone new. I'm trying to highlight what I think are the best plays this week, and I still think Xander is. So Xander Schauffele comes in at 10,800 on DraftKings. He's third there. 11.9 on FanDuel. He's third there. So a little bit more respect after a few of the guys who were above him last week went and missed cuts. He has moved up in the pricing. He's now behind just DJ and Jon Rahm. But to me, I still think, essentially, in my opinion, he is right at the top tier right now. You look at his, so these are the 2020, 2021 season stats on the PGA. First in strokes gained total. That's as straightforward as it gets. You look at tee to green, he is 8th there, which, sometimes people will say that may be more important than total, strokes gained total, in terms of what it can predict. But I still think I want guys that can putt. I want guys who, whether it's avoiding 3 putts because these are huge greens, or whether it's people who are going to knock in those birdies. I want putters. His putter has been very hot, but... to me,
that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so I'm going to be on Xander again. So the two things to me that really articulated, I think, beyond the stats, you look at his results. There's 2 ways I'm going to look at his results. Since the COVID restart, he's had 18 starts. 17 times he's been in the top 25. So basically he's showing up ready to go every week. 9 times, so 50% of the time he's in the top 10. 7 out of 18 he's in the top 5. So that'd be 35 to 40%-ish, somewhere around there. He's getting into the top 5. Yes, I know he's third in pricing. He doesn't need to necessarily win for him to be value there. If you have, the other guys who are in the top, finish up high, then maybe one of your picks being up in the top 5 is good when you have 3 of the other guys up there. So to me, it's just the pure consistency that he's been showing of recent. The other one, I had spoken about this a lot more if you've been watching since the fall. He has a stellar record in no-cut events. So since the start of 2019, there's 17 starts that I counted that were no-cut events.
Right. 10
of 17, he's in the top 10. 7 of 17, he's in the top 5. So it's just, it's stellar. I don't really know.
35-40%.
I don't really know what more to say than I expect Xander to show up again. He typically does well on Bermuda grass putting, so I expect him to show up again. I expect him to be competitive. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he won this thing.
The other thing, too, is he's now priced above Rory, JT, and Bryson. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, he's behind only DJ and Jon Rahm.
So I think possibly that, he might not be an obvious plug and play for a lot of people. So his ownership might be a little bit suppressed than we've seen with even how good he's been playing. So I think it's a really interesting play. The other thing, too, is we've been seeing Xander push it out there with his drive past Rory at Waste Management, past all these other guys last week. He's just so good.
Yeah, he's so good. And the other thing, I was trying to come up with a single stat to show how good he was, but he's so balanced. All facets of his game are so good. And I just honestly, I think that I'm going to have a hard time not playing him all week long, tourney long and then in showdowns.
I'll get there. Yeah, I'll get there next week. for sure.
Okay, your next one. What do we got?
My next pick, Sungjae Im, 8,800 on DraftKings. He's 17th there on FanDuel. He's 10,200. He's 15th. It's kind of weird for Sungjae because we've seen a lot of these top guys recently, but the guy who plays maybe the most on the PGA Tour we haven't seen. So, I mean, we haven't seen him in a little bit. And I mean, I was kind of curious, like, is Sungjae one of these guys that only performs well when he's in his like fifth, sixth, seventh straight start, or, just has a week off? So I had to go down. And again, I was kind of counting manually on his OWGR site how many times he's had a 2+ week break. And these are the recent results going back, furthest away to most recent. He is T19 at the 2019 Greenbrier, T10 at the 2020 Charles Schwab, T14 at the DP World Tour Champs just this past kind of December there. So when he is coming off a break, he still gets those top 10, top 20 finishes. So I think that's a good thing for Sungjae. How does he, again, looking at kind of WGCs or majors, how does he compete against the world's best? We just had the 2020 Masters. He was T2 there. A course that will kind of throw everything at you. You need to have a well-rounded game. You need to be able to get up and down, which is maybe Sungjae's weakness. Around the greens are maybe his weakness. But a T2 at the Masters, proves that he can do it against the world's best. And then the other thing I really like about Sungjae, so I'm not going to talk about stats with him, but he's right below Morikawa and Fleetwood. I was stuck on Fleetwood for a while. I almost had Fleetwood here, and I do like him. But he's going to be, I think, a more popular play. Same with Morikawa. Just the names, they're a little bit more popular names. And then he's right above Cam Smith and Max Homa. Max Homa coming off that win might have ownership. Cam Smith looking really good again. Masters, and then again this past week at Riviera. So I think Sungjae Im, because we haven't seen him in a little bit.
You think there's some pivot play equity there?
Yeah, I think he's a good pivot play. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Ranked 17th, if he goes out there and top 15, top 10, good drafting scoring. I mean, if we do look at his stats, he is 23rd or better and birdie or better percentage. He's 35th in par 5 scoring. So the stats are there. I think it's just kind of a sneakier play in this 8K range.
Yeah, and so this is where, first off, maybe he's actually taking weeks off. Weren't they talking about him finally buying a house? So maybe he just had to keep playing because he just needed to pay for his hotel room that week and on to the next place. And so now he's got a house. Maybe we'll see him taking some more weeks off. He's earned the right to rest a bit.
Settled in Georgia, I think, outside Atlanta. So.
The one thing for me, and this is where I don't know for sure whether Sungjae will be in my pool. I fiddled around with lineups. I might completely skip this range entirely. I might go very, very unbalanced this week. I don't know for sure, and this is where I'll be fleshing that out between now and Wednesday night when we do our live show. But that would be one of the things that I might just try to take more extreme approaches this week. But yeah, we'll see on that.
Barring kind of any withdrawal or injury or anything, the person ranked 6,000 is going to get the exact same number of holes as DJ. So
we're not worried about missing cuts this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So my next one here, again, it's probably pretty boring because you had him as a pick last week. Tony Finau, 9,800 on DraftKings. He's 8th there. 11,200 on FanDuel. He's 8th there. So, he's coming in still a tier below all of these guys at the top. And this is where I just see so much value in these second, right sort of below. You were talking about it with Hatton, right below all these stars. I think there's tons of value in that next level. You look at his strokes gained stats for this season. He's 5th in total, 183. He's 5th tee to green. This is in this tournament. So, there are some people, especially I think in approach, who are ahead of him that aren't in this tournament. But he's 4th in approach. A lot of people think of him just as a bomber, but, he's got really good hands. He does a really good job getting them tight. To me, it's just... Tony Finau is, I still think, being a little bit underrated because of this inability to get the win. He's been crazy consistent so far this season. So this is including not just, PGA starts, because he did go over to Europe and start, but he's gained strokes, so 40 rounds since... not counting the Tour Championship. So U.S. Open was his first tournament this year. So from there till now, He's played 40 rounds. He's gained strokes in 35 of them. So, I mean, that's crazy. He also, like, he has gained lots of strokes in a lot of those rounds, but it's just the consistency to me that every week he's showing up and he's working his way high up on leaderboards. He's had 10 starts in that time. He's been T11 or better in 7 of those 10. So only 3 events he really hasn't been, in the conversation. Last 4 events, and this is where I think people are somewhat discounting how good he has been playing because none of these are wins. But he went 4th, tied for second, second, losing in the playoff this week. So you can look at those second places as bad things, but I look at those as good things. I look at those as a guy who's playing great golf. His floor is so high, it seems like right now. And last thing, if you buy the choker narrative, maybe stay away from him. I don't buy it at all. I think, it's... We were talking about it a little bit with Sam Burns, that Sam Burns easily could have still won that thing at minus 11 at the start of the day yesterday. Tony Finau easily could have won that thing by going out there and posting a 64. It took Max Homa going out there and doing something special himself in order for Finau not to have a good enough finish to win it. You look at his so just as straightforward as it can get. I think his season scoring average 69.19, his round 4 scoring average 69.11. So I don't buy that he's a choker. I don't buy that there's any issue with him. He came out and shot a 64 on Sunday while a few strokes back of the lead to start the day. I like the Finau play. I'm going to be heavy on it.
I love Finau. When I brought up Hatton, I said maybe starting there, and I said, well, maybe not because I think actually starting around going Finau Hatton might be kind of contrarian in itself.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like when I say I might skip that low 9, high 8 range, I might just plug in as many guys from this range as I can. Yeah.
Finau, not only is he a great golfer, great finishes, he gets those DraftKings points, he gets the birdies, he gets the birdie streaks, Eagles opportunities, all I'm going to be on Tony again. Absolutely.
Yeah, enough said.
Enough said. Absolutely.
Okay, last one here.
Oh dear. Did I put in this guy? Okay, my third pick, Sergio Garcia, and I'm looking over my shoulder here. I feel like our longtime fans and followers and people in the Discord chat are going to think I'm crazy, and maybe I am.
The person sitting opposite you here might think you're a little bit crazy.
Yeah. My third pick, Sergio Garcia. He's 7,500 on DraftKings. He's 30th there. On FanDuel, he's 8,500. He's 31st there. What? Okay. Sergio Garcia. He's got the win in Florida. He's got the win at a major. He's got a win in the past 6 months. So he can do all these things. How does he rank strokes gained tee to green in the field? So just in this field, the last 6 months, he ranks 13th. Remember, his DraftKings rank is 30th in pricing. So 13th, 1.40. Last 3 months, 6th. So he's been better in the past 3 months than he has been in the past 6 months total. He's 6th, 1.87. What we have to look at, okay, how does that compare to strokes gained total? And I get that. How's the putting bringing him down? So 6 months, he actually ranks 34th. Not great, a little bit below his pricing, but I think if he has a hot putter week or even couple rounds, he more than makes up for it in his tee to green game. Last 3 months, he ranks 26 total. So still better than his DraftKings price rank. So I think even if he can flash the putter, close the eyes, figure it out for a couple rounds, he can get scoring. And then look at WGC history. So he has 20 top 10s at WGCs. Obviously, Sergio Garcia is a great golfer, great career, great history, all that thing. 9 top 7s at the WGC Championship. Again, this is Mexico. I think this is Tyrrell at a point. So it's been a little bit all over, but he wins majors. He wins in Florida. He's won, all those tournaments. There's no reason why he can't go out and win this.
Yeah. But you must be confident in him because 7,500, you have the option at 7,500 to include him in the sleeper show or in the pick show. So either you like a lot of guys down low there or you're just really high on Sergio. I don't know for sure whether I'll get there or not. I have to look at that range a little bit closer. I do think that the real thing that I think you've highlighted that makes him intriguing is the upside. His tee to green game is a strength, and the putting, if he has a good putting week, it's very high upside. So I think that's the thing about it that attracts me the most. It's just a matter of, I think potentially I'll take some shots with him, but not necessarily the amount of ownership I'm going to have with some of these other guys we're talking about.
And you know what? He could come 72nd in this field. He can completely eject. I'm aware of that. But like I said at the start with the DFS no cut events, he gets 4 rounds. Even in his 2 rounds at Riviera, he got an eagle. Like he gets those scoring opportunities.
Yeah, and you need to take shots with upsides if you're playing GPPs. He is not a guy who's playing cash games.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone I might play in cash games or GPPs. My next pick, my last pick, Will Zalatoris. I know what you're thinking. I am bringing him up every week. I didn't bring him up last week until our round 3 showdown. So I held off as long as I could last week.
You're holding out. You're like,
I was itching for it. I can't do it this week. I like it too much. I think the play is great. He comes in 8,000 on DraftKings, 25th there, 8,800 on FanDuel, 28th there. To me, it's just, again, there's a floor aspect of it and there's a ceiling aspect of it. So 2020, 2021 results, he's got 10 starts on the PGA Tour, 7 top 20s, 4 top 10s. Those are great numbers. I'll take those every day at this price range. You look at his strokes gained stats, and this is one thing I mentioned in our showdown video about him last week. I think he does the things well that star players do well. So that's one of the reasons I'm so high on Will Zalatoris. It's not just because he's getting a lot of really good finishes. It's because the way he's doing it are the things that we see, like the Dustin Johnsons, the Xander Schauffele, like the things we see these guys do before they reach into those top tiers are the things he's doing well. He's 11th in strokes gained total on the season. Obviously, there's a discount there on his price. He's 11th tee to green. Again, that's one of the most important stats if you're just looking at a single stat. Incorporates ball striking and around the green. And the thing that he's really elite at, I mean, he has a lot of distance off the tee, but the thing that I think he does the best is his approach play. He's 3rd. This is in this field. So he's ahead of Tony Finau, who I was talking about that being one of his strengths. He just... I still feel like people don't get how good he is. And maybe it's just I still am looking at it through rose-colored glasses. But the reason I wanted to bring him up at the start of the week this time, because I am higher on him. Coming off Pebble Beach, we didn't have a great finish, but I was saying I think Genesis, on our Wednesday show last week, I think Genesis does set up better for him. It requires a bit more length than Pebble. I think from the sounds of this course, obviously we don't know because we haven't seen PGA Tour golf at this course, but it sounds like it's long. I mean, it is longer, but it sounds like distance is more important. And it also sounds like it's going to be a hard course. So I think
firm and fast.
And I think, when I say I think he does the things well top players do well, I think that also translates top players play hard courses better. Like hard courses differentiate more between the best players and everyone else. And so you look at him, you look at the hardest courses he's played. So I've got here the winning score at 3 tournaments. These are the lowest winning scores that he has been a part of those tournaments so far this season. US Open was -6. He was tied for 6th there. Farmers was -14. He was tied for 7th there. And actually, that was Patrick Reed was at -14. No one was even really that close to him. So that could have been, borderline single digits for scoring there. And then Genesis this past week, -12 was what got you into a playoff. And he was tied for 15th there. So I think, he's not going to be... He doesn't have as much of an edge, I think, on these birdie fests where anyone can go out there and make enough birdies that week. I think he's really going to stand out on a tough course like this.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I saw you picked him, I was kind of like, well, okay, this is the first time I'm going to really kind of counter argue and say, you know what, I can say for certain he's not going to be my player pool. Those are really good arguments. I actually didn't think you're going to bring out the hard course, kind of better results. That is interesting with Willie Z here. So I don't know if I'm going to get there. I think 25th in the world for. I mean, his ascension has been so quick. I love his long-term potential, but I don't know if he can go out I think this would be his first WGC. I'm not entirely sure, but go out and top 10 or top 15. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to get there. I don't often say this with your picks, but I'm not sure I'm going to get there.
Yeah, and so I mean, we'll get into this on the Wednesday show, but he's priced right around Joaquin Niemann. Just below Adam Scott. So like
Usti, I think
Usti's right around there. Yeah. So You do have to, if you are going to play him, you're more and more you're going to have to play him over other options that are quite attractive. So I mean, I get that not everyone's going to get there, and there's going to be other guys around there in my player pool, but I'm definitely gonna be pumping Willie Z this week.
Yeah, for sure. So as we mentioned, our tournament preview is out. We kind of broke down the tournament a little bit, the course a little bit. Our model will be on our website soon, if not already when you're watching this. Our sleeper show will be coming out shortly. For the
or
WGC,
already, depending on when you're watching this.
Or already. Our Puerto Rico show will be coming out on Tuesday. We do have the alternate field PGA event, so we will be.
And that's where there's potentially more of a DFS edge, because that's where we're really digging deeper into the depths of the PGA Tour.
That kind of stuff. Yeah. And then, as we've mentioned before, our live show Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and then every night during the tournament with showdown picks Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern as well. Subscribe, hit that thumbs up if you like our content. We really do appreciate it. And yeah, share the videos out.
Yep. Good luck, guys. We'll see you next time.
Yes. Yeah.
Good job.